Are you ready to take your organization to the next level and become a game changer in your industry? Then look no further. Welcome to Yeukai Business Show, where we bring you the world's top business thought leaders to share their secrets to success, from leadership development to finance, marketing, self-development, human resource management, and much, much more. Our guests reveal the strategies, tactics, and mindsets that have made them so successful. So let's dive in and learn from the best in the business. Hello, and welcome to another great episode. With me here is my good friend, Joe Pallo, who's showing up for the first time here on the show. And I'm excited about today because we are going to be talking about something that every business owner, everybody needs to know about if you're going to succeed in life. Did you know that from the moment you wake up to the time you go to bed, you are selling your ideas to everybody you meet, whether you're in business or whether you're selling it to your wife or you want your children to do something, you have to sell your ideas. And today you're going to discover how to do that elegantly and also how to do it in a way that serves the other person. And to do that is a master seller himself, Joe Pallo, who has been in the industry for the last 35 years. In fact, earning in commissions probably millions and millions of dollars based on the skill sets he's going to be talking about. Joe, once again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Incredible. Once again, drawing from over 35 years of commission sales, Joe Pallo is a top sales producer who first earned his hard knocks and big rewards from door-to-door selling. Joe is a powerful storyteller and also quoted in Forbes magazine and has been helping thousands of coaches, teachers, and training a lot of great people who are doing what he's doing today. In fact, I know Joe is going to tell you one or two stories of some of the people who have succeeded in sales as a direct result of what he teaches. Joe, you've got a saying that I absolutely love. Tell everybody what that saying is.
In sales, it's whoever's talking is buying. In a selling situation, if I'm talking more than you are, I'm literally buying your objections. If I get you talking more than me, you're buying whatever's in my bag. So I strive to have people tell me what they want, why they want it, and I just sell that.
Amazing. You know what? It makes perfect sense because the more you talk, the more you are either selling, telling everybody what you want, and the more you're listening, the more you know what to give them. I love that saying for sure. Now, for those who haven't come across your work, Joe, very briefly, tell us how you ended up, in sales, and you stayed in sales for this many years.
Well, I started in sales, like you said, door to door, selling books door to door. And did that for 6 years and paid my way through college doing that. And it just kind of stuck with me. It was a career where the harder I worked, more valuable or the better I did. And I liked having that control. I'm just kind of stuck. It's maybe I'm wired this way, but if I focus on helping people get what they want, I'll get what I want. I know it's a cliche, but I think in sales, it really rings true.
Yes. And the more you listen, the more you get to know exactly what they want, and then you can give it to them. Love that. One of the things I'm excited about, Joe, in fact, I hope you will talk about it in this episode, is your upcoming book, How to Sell Nothing, the Salesperson's Guide to What Really Happens During a Sale. Do you mind talking about that very briefly and when the book will be out?
The book will be out August 1st, is what we're projecting. And it deals with how to sell nothing is based on the principle that there's two sales that need to happen. There's a logical sale. There's an emotional sale.
Right.
They're both important. The logical one confirms it. The emotional one makes it happen. If we don't get people emotionally engaged, they're not going forward. How to sell nothing is the logical way to make the emotional sale.
Wow, amazing. And in your experience, which one comes first?
It's a relationship. I mean, if I'm in a sales call, the relationship starts on that first interaction. Actually, it starts when I get the referral. I start trying to draft off of the referee's relationship onto the first conversation. The logic, again, needs to happen. But if they don't have a need, or if they don't tell me what they want and why it's important, I can't really close on that. So the relationship has to be the key piece for me.
Incredible. I remember listening to John Maxwell talking about relationship. He mentioned something that has stuck with me all these years. He said, before you relate or connect, or before you make a sale or connect, find the mutual ground and figure out, how best you can help them. And it sounds similar to what you are saying here. Mm-hmm. Now we want to dive deep in talking about, after 30,000 sales calls and over 35 years of doing this and making millions of dollars in sales booked, in your opinion, what is the most important lesson you have learned so far that can change the game for aspiring top producers today?
I think the first part is, and it's kind of fundamental in sales, in that first interaction, we do a show up, throw up, and just puke about how good and great and wonderful we are.
Yes.
And it's just a turnoff. And we're all trained that way. We brag about our company and all this. I strive, and I even coach on this. One of the first things I want to say, if I was talking to you, say, is it all right if I skip over the part where I brag about how good and great and wonderful I am? And I'd like to ask you some questions. And it works. It disarms them. They don't really care. But also it screams confidence. If I'm saying that, I'm pretty much, I know I can take care of them. And I'm telegraphing, hey, Pallo's good. He can take care of us. That's one big piece is if you want to avoid something, that's a mistake. Don't do the show up, throw up, get them talking. Another mistake that I think.
Before we move on to the next mistake here, I really want to point out to Bill who's listening today that what you just said there could save you a lot of pain. Because if you start by that way of showing up and bragging by yourself, you could turn some people off. Because right now, people have had enough of all those bragging. They just want somebody to help them. And you get this right, you increase your chances of success. Amazing. Let's talk about, maybe the next mistake that you have observed many aspiring individuals do.
In sales, that we close before we know what they want and, again, why they want it. And I say that, I've repeated that a couple of times because it's that important.
Right.
I talked about the buckets, and this may help explain how important it is. In sales, we have a logical sale, or logical bucket, an emotional sale, an emotional bucket. We need both of them filled in order to get to the next step.
Right.
The logical bucket is filled with my voice, the salesperson. I'm an expert on it. I've got a marketing department, and I can fill that bucket, and in my words, fill up that bucket. The emotional bucket is filled with their voice. And emotions are weird, and they're fickle things, and they change. They don't make sense. So we can have a great meeting, and they're laughing at my jokes, they're asking questions. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 10. And maybe the meeting ends with, Joe, can you come back in 2 weeks and I want to see your proposal? I've got both buckets full. I get the next step. Let's fast forward 2 weeks. This is a common problem where they come back to that second meeting and it's a different meeting. They're not asking questions. They're not laughing at your jokes, and they're looking at their watch, and you walk out of there with, I need to think about it. And we never get back in to see them. And people think, what happened? What's wrong with that second meeting? The problem is at the first meeting. See, at the first meeting, the buckets, let's talk about the buckets. The logical bucket is finite. It's like you have a bucket filled with water. You can't put any more water in it.
That's right.
If I have a client who's logically sold, I can't sell logic anymore. The emotional bucket has holes in it because they change all the time. At that first meeting, I had both buckets filled. I got the next step. When I come back in the second meeting 2 weeks later, or 2 months, or 2 years later, their emotional reasons, that bucket's empty. I strive, and this is the biggest mistake, never re-engage until you get them talking about what they want and why they want it. Their voice fills that emotional bucket. And I have to do that at the second meeting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Amazing. That explains why certain sales, haven't failed. I remember when I was sort of recruiting for a coaching client, I did this myself. It was all going very well until, we scheduled for the appointment after sending all the proposal. We don't do it that way anymore. But it was like, oh, I thought we had closed the deal. And now I understand where we messed up.
Yep. It's a very common mistake. And it's frustrating as heck because we thought we had them. And then we just have to back up a little bit and say, last time we were talking about this. Tell me more about that. And that's getting their voice to fill up that emotional bucket.
I love that. Absolutely love that. Let's talk about the system which you created. I was looking at it earlier on, the earning system, sales system, so to speak. Share with everybody what this stands for and how any business owner can actually use the system to grow their business or do whatever they need to do in life.
Sure. It came about with you have a battle plan and you get it all organized. You know what you're going to happen. As soon as the battle starts, you throw the plan out the window. Well, that happened in sales all the time. And so I created this acronym to help us kind of fuddle through it, but it should go in this order, but it may not. But it gives us at least each letter stands for something we want to do. And in sales, I have to earn the right to ask for the next step. So right. Earning, that's the acronym. The E just stands for I need to evaluate their current reality. That's our data gather. And I think a lot of salespeople are pretty good at that. And we ask a lot of questions. I look at it mentally. If I'm going to make an apples to apples comparison, I have to ask enough questions so I know what type of apples you have. Right. If I'm going to show you something different, apples to oranges, I still have to ask enough questions to know what type of apples we're starting with. So that's the E. I think a lot of people are pretty good on that one. The A, what are the advantages of their current vendor? What do they like? What's going really well right now? And I get pushback saying, Joe, I don't know if I want to ask that because I feel like I'm talking them into staying with my competitor, their current vendor. And I love asking what are the advantages? Because one, it's different. I get different results because I do things differently.
Right.
Two, by me asking what do they like about their current vendor, it screams confidence. I'm going right where it's hot in the kitchen. But the biggest reason is when I ask what do they like about their current vendor, they are literally telling me their hot button. And that's what I'm going to close on 5 minutes, 5 weeks, or 5 months. And I'm not going to know until I ask. What do they like about what's going right? What's going really well? The E and the A. R is revised. What do they want to change? This is the major reason why they're going to go forward. And I don't lead off with it, but I think right now, as busy as we are, if I'm sitting down talking to somebody or on the phone talking, they have a problem with sales or their sales team. Otherwise, I would not be there. We're too busy. This is the major reason. What do they need to change? What needs to happen? N, no. Who can say no? Who else needs to be involved in this conversation? There are some times that I will back out of a presentation if I don't have the decision makers there. Sometimes we can't, but one of the worst things in sales is to give a pitch and they'll say, Joe, I got to run it by my boss. And it's like, great. Now I got to come back in 2 weeks or 2 months and do my dog and pony show. Or worse, you're going to sell my product for me and you're not an expert on it. And you're going to sell me for me and you're not an expert on it.
Right.
Again, I will try to back out of it, or maybe I won't give the price until I get the right people there. Sometimes you are locked in. That's E.A.R.N.I.N.G. And if you want one thing that people can apply to and do tomorrow for all your listeners, this is it. I stands for interpret back what they just said. Just for clarity, I'm just going to repeat back what you just said with all the other E and the A and the R and the N, and just repeat it back. And I don't wait for permission. I just go on a rant. And it's just cool how it changes the whole dynamic of the meeting. It's like, yeah, this guy gets me. Like, Pallo, you said it better than I did. And I'm just repeating back their words. But the big thing is, mentally, I'm on their side of the table. And I have not even started selling yet. Interpret back is a key piece.
It makes sense, Joe, because people want to be understood. People crave that somebody gets them. And when you say that back to them, they say, oh, this person understands me, understand what I'm trying to do. And they say, oh, they didn't ask me over there, but this one is asking me for clarification, which is amazing. I can see how that works.
Sure. So the second N, nothing. What if nothing changes? This question creates a sense of urgency. And if I don't ask it, they need to think about it. But 9 times out of 10, when I ask it, I'm going to get kind of a fluffy answer. So I always say, what else? I personally, 2 things, the 2 words that are most underused in sales and probably the most important, what else? Because when I ask, what happens if nothing changes? Well, we'll be about the same. Well, what else? What would that look like? And I really dig in and make them think about and tell me about that picture if nothing changes.
Right.
The G is.
But before we go to the G,
Yep.
I've discovered that when you force them to think, you are taking them to that emotional place. They begin to see things in the big picture. Because if, say, for example, I say, what happens if you don't get the solution that you want? How is that going to affect your finances? How is that going to affect your relationship? How is that going to affect your retirement? How is that going to affect the community? If there are people, they've got causes that they believe in, how is that going to impact that? So the more they develop in their mind, because you're taking them in this world of imagination, the more they say, you know what, I've got to make this happen. And who better can help me is this person who understands me, because you've gone on the previous before. This is brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you. And you're right. It is literally, go back to, doctors can't sell you until you tell them how or why. This is what does it. It's literally that part. And you are spot on. What if happens I can't do that? We can't make budget. We can't recruit. We can't do. I want them telling me all that, because that's what I'm going to sell. And then the G is gain. If we took care of this problem, if this problem, we took 2 hours off your plate and we cleared it up, what would you do with that time? And it puts me in such a great spot where I haven't even started selling yet. Now, this also, there's another piece that comes with this. And this is a free download. You can go to convertsalesfaster.com. It's a free download where I spell it out for you. Convertsalesfaster.com. But the other part of this, let's talk about the buckets. And then the importance of them filling up their emotional bucket. And it's their voice. In between, when I'm going through this earning piece, I ask what I call dig-in questions. They give me a question, I dig in and get more.
Right.
Basically, a dig-in question is just me thinking, well, why is that? Well, why is that? Well, why is that? Well, why is that? And you can't do that because that's creepy and weird. So, but I would say, like, well, what do you mean? Say we just want to be comfortable. Okay, when you say comfortable, what does that look like? That's another digging question. Or how so? Give me an example. Can you say that again? What else? I ask dig-in question after dig-in question because, again, it's their voice filling up that emotional bucket. And that's what I need to close on. And I need to bring that up at the second meeting and probably the third meeting. So in between, I'm going through this earning piece. I'm asking dig-in question after dig-in question after dig-in question, and basically puts me in a spot where I'm incredibly confident when I close. Or if you look at it this way, if I'm going through a sales call and I'm on my game and I'm going through the earning process and I'm asking dig-in question after dig-in question the whole way through, and we recorded this whole conversation and we came back to our office, we played it back, but we edited out my voice. You know what you're left with? A person sitting in a room saying what he wants, what's the problem, how to fix it, what he likes, and why. Just sell that. You don't even have to be good at sales anymore. Just sell that.
Wow, this is amazing. This is a proper masterclass that we are having here, for sure. And how do you then close it? Given that you've got all that lined up for you, how do you then move on to ask for the sale?
I think when you go through this process, and I think most experienced, and I usually work with the top producers, it's just natural. They'll say, well, what's next? Or you can be very assumptive because I'm sitting in a spot where I know I can fix it. I've just talked about my product, how it addresses all those things. I just go through the logistics. Here's the next step. We need to have this date here, or we need an invoice number, and just close. You don't have to really make a big deal out of it. They just said everything they needed, and they're on board with you. It's surprising. We both know someone who applied this, Nancy. Next 5 conversations she had by doing this earning piece, she closed all 5 of them.
Amazing. Well, talk of Nancy. She's an incredible lady, and we had Nancy on the show not long ago, and everybody loves her. And if you want to check out the work that she does, there's a podcast somewhere in the recording that you can reach out to her, which is incredible. Joe, I'm absolutely loving what we're talking about, but we want to talk about, some of the things they can do to double or triple their sales processes. after they've gone through this entire system?
I think the biggest piece is, and it's an old thing, we all know it, it's referrals. Right. If we look at it, when we started selling, we sucked at everything. We were horrible, all of us. and through repetition, we got pretty good. Maybe you got pretty good at creating trust or creating a buying atmosphere, answering objections. On a scale of 1 to 10, we're at a 10, except when it comes to referrals. Odds are that one slice of your business, we're still rookies. And if we got this one part of business about referrals up on par with everything else, that's where you double and triple your business.
Yeah.
And the thing is with referrals is I think we're passive about asking for referrals. There's nothing passive about referrals. Up until 2 months ago, I never had a website. I wasn't on Facebook. This is my 12th podcast. I've been doing this for 12 years. My business has been referral based because that's what works.
Yeah. And you've got very unusual ways of asking for referrals. We were talking before the recording here, and you mentioned that there are 4 uncommon ways to ask for referrals and get quality leads without, coming across as, inconsiderate. Would you share at least 2 of those, maybe all of them?
Well, the first part is referrals are given to confident people. You have to ask in a confident way. And if you've gone through this conversation, the earning piece and asking digging questions, you've developed a relationship where it's suitable and comfortable for them to give you referrals. That's one piece. The second, and I try to simplify things, it's a simplified referral ask. And basically, if I was talking to you, let's just say hypothetical, you're a client, you've worked with me for 4 years, and I'd say, just curious, I want to get some feedback. We've worked together the last 4 years. We've taken care of this problem. We've taken care of that. We've fixed this part. I'd like to get some feedback. What are some things you've liked about working with me or my team? I ask them for feedback, what they like. I give them a couple of bones, and that goes in this bucket, my imaginary bucket calls those things. Their voice is filling up that bucket of things they like about working with me or my team. Great spot to be in for referrals because I just simply pivot and say, who are 3 people who would appreciate those things? It's that simple. They've just been bragging on me. It's kind of awkward where I don't want to give you any referrals. I've just been bragging about you. That's the simplified referral ask where basically I get their voice to fill up bucket of those things they like working with me or my team. And my ask is, who are 3, and I ask for a specific number. Who are 3 people who would appreciate those things?
You know what, Joe, I will be using the same system tomorrow. In fact, earlier on today, I was at a BNI meeting. I'm part of the BNI meeting, which is incredible. We get a lot of business from there. And I'll certainly be using this strategy that you are sharing with me because it makes perfect sense. It'll be a great place to practice it. And then we'll take it on to the rest of the world. And the other 2?
The other is I came across what I call the ideal referral deal. And again, I'm a sales guy. I'm not a marketing, so there's better names, but I don't deal with that. But basically, this came with the premise that I was shopping with my wife. She goes, "Do you like this?" We were in the store. "No." "Do you like this?" "No." "Do you like this?" "No." "What do you like?" "I don't know." And I think as we're developed, we know exactly what we don't like, but finding what we like is a little bit harder. So I took that idea and said, what are the character traits of people that I don't want to work with? Bad business partners, lack of follow through, the dishonest, the gossip, whatever. And I put a list. I called it 25 hates to love, 25 list of character traits of bad clients, bad customers. And I ranked them. And I was really clear with my details. So I knew exactly what I was talking about.
Right.
So I have a list of 25 character traits that I hated, very detailed, ranked. And then I made another list and I wrote the exact opposite, 1 for 1. So now I have a list of 25 crystal clear ideas of pieces I hate. And I have 25 traits that I like. Wow. That is the best way to look at my ideal clients. If I was talking to you, I'd say, you know what? If I could share something with you, I put together a list of the character traits of people that I really like to work with. You have some of these traits. Is it all right if I share them with you? And they'll say, yeah. And I'll say, okay, my ideal clients are smart, but feel they don't have to prove it. They're enthusiastic. They're loyal. They're hard workers. They have batteries included. They don't drain me for energy. They're fun. They're outgoing. Who are 3 people who have some of those traits? Same process.
Joe, this is amazing. I can see exactly how this works out in the world, and I can see myself in that environment. This is absolutely brilliant.
There's one more piece, if I could add to it, and this is probably a big piece.
Right.
Well, it is a huge piece. It's how I've built my business. Referrals are important, but right now, I think we're too busy. A name and a number is not enough. We all have business cards. We've been referred to people that we can't get in to see them because they're too busy. They're great prospects, but we can't get anywhere. And every time we see their business card, we don't throw it away because it's valuable, but we don't call them. Well, come up with a thing called a silver bullet. A silver bullet is something that I know that an average Joe on the street doesn't know. Silver bullet is something that I know that an average Joe on the street doesn't know. And I use that to draft off of the referee's relationship onto that first conversation. Making sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll give you some examples. This is a true example. His name was E.A.R.N.I.N.G. And this is what the guy who referred, he said his name's E.A.R.N.I.N.G. He's at my level. He's in a different city. Great guy, has a great team, very enthusiastic, takes care of his clients. He's not a meathead. Those were the silver bullets. I got sirens. It's first Wednesday of the month, so the siren's going. So sorry about that. So when I left a message for Aaron, said, "Hey, Aaron," and I'm a script guy. This is exactly what I said. "Hey, Aaron, it's Joe Pallo. We haven't actually met yet. Mark mentioned your name. He said you're not a meathead. 612-805-7576." And I hung up. 15 minutes later, I get a call from Aaron. I get referrals calling me back because he's thinking, what else did Mark say? So that's how you can get your business referral base to the right people. Your top clients, a name and numbers. You have to get a silver bullet. I don't even count a referral unless I get a silver bullet. And how I get the silver bullet is if you gave me, say, call Bill Anderson. Say that's the referee or you referred Bill Anderson. You ask a couple questions. How long have you known him? How long has he worked there? And I'll say, hey, just curious. What type of decision maker is Bill? Is he a numbers guy? Is he a driver? Is he a talker? And it forces you to think about Bill, which is what I want. And it's also good information. If he's a driver, I know I'm going to have like 15 seconds to get to the bottom line. Or if he's a talker, got to let him get his words out. But that's the first question. And again, I'm getting silver bullets. Then I go to where they really start. What do you respect most about Bill?
Right.
That's a silver bullet, right? What else? Tell me more about that. What's a funny story about him? Because I'll get silver bullet after silver bullet, and I can leave those after messages. They're going to call me back.
That is genius. I can tell, man, you've been doing this for a long time because it comes out of you so natural. Absolutely love that. And if you're joining us, you are in for a treat, as you can tell. And I'm glad you're taking notes, and also you're going to be applying either one or two of what we're talking about to boost your business and get those things that you truly want in your business. And who knows, that could help you become a massive contributor, not only in your family, but in your community, and time, and God allows, maybe in your entire country. We'd love to hear your stories if you've got something else to share with us. Joe, as we are nearing towards the end of our time together, you talk about simple ways to ask better questions. In fact, you alluded to 3 questions earlier on. What were those 3 questions, 3 ways, perhaps, that you can use to ask better questions to engage your potential client, sometimes to get that sale stage set up for you to ask for the sale?
First is a principle that if someone asks me, Joe, do you do executive level coaching? It'd be easy for me to, yeah, it's what I do. It's what I specialize in. I just did it yesterday. I do it all the time, and just answer that. I strive, if someone asks, Joe, do you do executive level coaching? Well, sure, I've done it before, but just curious. I want to answer your question in the right context. Why'd you ask that? Just what caused you to ask that? In other words, when you get a question, what they ask is important. Why they ask it is extremely important. And I strive to make sure that I know why they're asking that question. Something happened that caused them to ask that question. I want to know what that is before I ask, because my answer is so much more on point. So that's a strive not to answer questions until you know why they asked it. The other part is, as I was talking, it's the dig-in questions. It's what else? Give me an example. Can you say that again? What does that look like? Because that's all filling up that emotional bucket. That's what I need. I need them to say it. They need to hear themselves say it, especially if you got a multi-group. If you're in a presentation, one person's asking the dig-in questions. He's selling everybody else. I'm just sitting there. Or if you have a husband and wife, And I'm asking the wife, why do you like this? Why is it important? What does that look like? She's selling her husband. I'm just there. Let them do it. And then the last kind of, I said before, it's being willing to say, what else? If you're not getting enough information, again, whoever's talking is buying. If I'm not getting enough information, I'm just going to ask what else, because I really need that. And I literally will not close unless I get them emotionally engaged. It doesn't make sense. My job as a salesperson is to get them emotionally engaged by saying what they want and why they want it. Now I can close.
Well, Joe, it is very clear to everybody that you know the stuff you're talking about. And we are curious for those who wants to learn further or go on a journey with you. Where can they find you?
First, you can go, if you want the download, it's convertsalesfaster.com. That's the earning download. You can also look at Sell Nothing on LinkedIn, Facebook, or go to my website, sellnothing.co. Not .com. I couldn't afford the M. It's .co. Well, a Bitcoin bought sellnothing.com. So I have sellnothing.co. And you can book a call with Joe, and there's a link on there and connect with me directly there.
I love that. And we'll make sure that the link is below this recording as well to make it very, very easy. Now, coming back to you as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, somebody who is striving to help people grow, what do you do to keep yourself on the journey? Because the reality is there's so many things coming against us, sometimes stops us from achieving what we have set out to do. In your experience of doing this for the last 12 years, and plus, really, what keeps you on the path?
Part of it was, I think, the reason I wrote, or I'm finishing up writing How to Sell Nothing. It's the realization that I've been blessed and fortunate. I've learned some lessons, but the relationship is helping them figure out what they want and why they want it. That's what motivates me. And it's just simple. It doesn't matter the sales. If you focus on taking care of your clients, they're going to take care of you. It's very simple. Yeah. The second piece of that is these principles, they're effective and they work. But also, if you take the word sales out and you put the word lead, the principles work when you're recruiting people. Principles work when you're working with your team. It's the same principles. If we teach our leaders to treat their downline as clients, that's where the retention comes in. And all those things kind of help me figure out other people to get to the next level.
Yeah, amazing. Absolutely amazing. And what's next for Joe over the next season for those who wants to jump on board, going where you're going?
Well, the book launch will be August 1st. Well, how to Sell Nothing. I'll probably do a Kindle book launch. I'll have an event, I believe, in Seattle on July 31st and August 1st. And then I'm working on my second book, will be How to Lead No One, where I take these principles, like I was saying, and apply it to leadership and management.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to know how to sell anything really to anybody, this is the system to follow. In other words, and also, if you want to know how to lead your team effectively and in a way that serves them and that serves you, you just discovered how to do it. And I hope, like I've been doing, we're taking notes and also scheduling when you're going to apply this, because nothing happens until you action your discoveries. And I'm hoping that you're going to action this as soon as possible indeed. Joe, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
It's been a blast. I appreciate it.
Incredible. And if you still haven't got your book, 8 Qualities for Great Leadership, we want to invite you to check it out. You can get it from anywhere where books are sold, online in physical format, on Kindle. You can get it on Amazon. Just type in 8 Qualities for Great Leadership, Critical Elements for Current and Future Success, written by a team of experts that we put together from around the world. I think some of them have become some of my best friends. You can just go get it for yourself, maybe gift it to somebody who is aspiring to be a great leader, and it will be a blessing to them. It will be a blessing to me. It took us almost a year to write this book, and we are very proud of the work that we've done over there, and it became an international bestseller immediately. So we want you, if you are considering writing or learning about leadership, go get the book. We'll also put the link below this video. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, live well. Live with passion. Know that the best is truly, truly yet to come. Goodbye for now. Thank you for tuning in to Yeukai Business Show. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode and have gained valuable insights and inspiration from our amazing guest. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review to help us spread the word. Also, be sure to check out our Leadership Ultimate Success Mastermind program, which is designed to help you and leaders in our community to do great things and support each other along their leadership journey. Until next time, live well, live with passion, know that the best is truly yet to come.